Hi Stampers, this is Kim with Great Inspirations. Welcome to week 3 of my Stamp Happy Holidays series. Today we are going to take a look at the Rocking Horse Bundle by Stampin' Up, and we're going to do something kind of fun with these rocking horse images. Now, if you do not have this bundle, don't despair. You can use the technique I'm going to show you with any die cut or punched image. So let's take a look. Here is the Rocking Horse Bundle. It's a sweet bundle, the stamp set. It says have a rockin' Christmas, Merry Christmas, sending Christmas joy to every girl and boy, wishing you an old-fashioned Christmas, and from our family to yours. Then of course we have this nice big image of the rocking horse, a couple of images of holly, some dots that you can put on the horse, a drum, a bow, a trumpet, and some gifts. And then here are the dies. We have the die for the rocking horse, and then this die cuts out a more elaborate rocker for the horse. And of course the die that cuts out the bow and the trumpet and the drum and the gifts. And then there are dies to cut out holly and to cut out the holly images. There are blocks, A, B, C. There are some other dies that cut out holly and another saddle for the horse. So we'll put these away and take a little look at the cards. Now this card, some of you know, my mother passed away a few years ago, and she loved all things vintage and Victorian. So every year I make a Christmas card and dedicate it to her. And this is the card I'm dedicating to my mother's memory this year. And I think she would have liked the Moody Mauve and the Mossy Meadow combination. As you can see, we have wishing you an old-fashioned Christmas. And this tree is actually from another bundle in the current Stampin' Up! Mini catalog called Merriest Trees. And that's where the ornaments came from as well. But here's the little horse, and I made the horse so it can rock. So it can actually be a rocking horse. And now here's something a little more contemporary, at least moving away from the Victorian era. Have a rockin' Christmas in the little argyle background, and yes, our horse rocks. So I'm going to show you how I made that horse rock. It's not difficult at all. It does take a couple little extra steps in putting the card together, but it is not difficult. So we'll put these over here. And the card where I'm going to put together for you is this one right here. So what you'll need is you will need the image of the horse that is colored and die cut, and then you'll just need another die cut. If you use a punch, it's fine. You'll just need a punched image that is stamped or colored the way you want it, and then just a plain punched image. And then we're going to need a card base, and this one is Mossy Meadow, and it is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then you'll need a piece of mine is basic white for the inside, but it is 4 by 5 1/4. And as you can see, I've just stamped Merry Christmas in there, and that is from the stamp set. Then you will need another piece of basic white that is also 4 by 5 1/4. And then your designer series paper that is 4 by 5 1/4, and then a sentiment, which this one is from the stamp set, and I have matted it on Mossy Meadow. So what we're going to do, the very first thing, is we are going to use some adhesive and mount the designer series paper to the cardstock. And the reason I'm doing this is because when and we're going to use a brad to put this horse on here. When you do that, you want this to be reinforced a little bit because the designer series paper is a little thinner than cardstock. So we'll put the adhesive on, and I'm going to try to stay just right on the edges because we don't want anything to interfere with where our horse will be, where the brad for the horse will be, that is. So there we go. I'm going to bring this in so I can just kind of differentiate the white of the cardstock from the white of the grid paper there. And just absolutely line it up just as best you can. You can always trim if we need to. There we go. I think that looks pretty good. So now we'll need our horse, the one that is just the die cut, and we're going to take a brad. And the Stampin' Up! Brads, they come in black and white, and there are ones that are a little bit bigger with square heads, and ones that are, if I can even grab one here, a smaller one. There we go. There's a smaller one, and it's round. It also comes in black and white, and the larger ones, square, black and white. And we want to use a larger one. I think I remember this is 6.4 millimeters wide, but anyway, we want something that's going to have enough width to not pull through the hole we're going to make. So what we're going to do, actually I need the piercing mat. So we're going to decide where we want this horse to be. And then we're going to use a piercing tool. In this case, I'm using my take your pick tool with the piercing tool end. And on your image, you want to make the hole sort of in the center of the image, but down far enough from the top that it won't pull away. So we're going to just poke a hole right like that. And now, as you can see, it went through the horse and it went through the designer series paper and the cardstock. So we're going to take our brad and put it right through the horse. I usually turn it this way because just turn it around, kind of make sure we can twist it and turn it a bit. There he is. And now we're going to take the image that we've colored and we're going to use some dimensionals. And I have both the regular dimensionals and the mini. Now we want to make sure not to put any dimensionals around where this brad will be going. So let's see, I'll put one up here on his head. Right here. There. I think the rest I need to use the mini ones. I think I felt better using the mini ones. Well, I think I probably could have put a regular one there. That's a little... We'll stick with the minis. I'll feel better. Don't want to have to trim the dimensionals away. And let's see. I'm thinking put one on the end. Okay. Ugh. I just want to make sure if this goes through the mail that it stays together. Okay. So there we go. And I'll use my take your pick tool and peel away as many of these as I can with it. Sometimes the little ones I have a hard time getting off with a take your pick tool. It's just easier to pull them off with my thumbnail there. Okay, now our brad is in place and we're going to line this up. We try to do our very best. Get everything lined up evenly. And I didn't quite get the head as evenly as I would like. Need to move it over just a tad. I'm going to trim that. Now that's the other thing. If you don't quite get it, you can just kind of trim it. And that will work just fine. Trim it down here a bit. There we go. Now all we have to do is put our brad through here. Make sure it rocks. Then we're going to take your pick tool again, or a some kind of paper piercing tool or something that'll fit under here. Put it right next to the inner part of the brad where it separates. Push down like that. Do it on the other side. And then we want to make sure it still rocks. There we go. And now more dimensionals. Now I'm just going to use the dimensionals, regular dimensionals on here, but you could use the adhesive back foam strips or the adhesive back foam sheets. That's totally up to you. You just want to make sure to keep dimensionals and the like away from this, but I do like to put some kind of around it just to kind of protect it. So when it does go through the mail, it doesn't get smushed down. The chances are less likely. Put this here and one there. And I'll just take these off with my fingernail. So let's see, that's 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, I'm taking a lot, but that's okay. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Oh, I used a whole dozen dimensionals. And now we'll get our card base. And we'll just put this on our card base. Turn it around this way a little bit. There we go. It's still rocking. So that's good. And then we'll get some more dimensionals and put on the back of our greeting. Peel those off. And there's have our Rockin' Christmas. There we go. And there's our little horse that rocks. And then you can open it up and there's your Merry Christmas, and of course there's room to sign your name. So there are those. And like I said, you can do this with any image that is die cut or punched. And here I have done, I used the Beary Cute stamp set, and this is a punched bear, and I put him on a little iceberg or floating ice that I cut from the designer series paper that goes with the Beary Cute bundle or suite of products, I guess. So there he is. And of course, this is a square card. It's 4 1/4 inch square, and then inside I just cut out one of the bears from the designer series paper. So see, you can use this technique with any die cut or punched image. And I just noticed that I forgot to put the little embellishments on here. I just have some of these, this says red and green adhesive back pearls, but in the catalog I do think they said the festive pearls, because they also do have the silver and gold. And these at least when I got them, were cherry cobbler. And that's what this paper. This is a foiled paper. It's one of the online exclusives. I believe it's called Shiny Christmas. And it is a special release. And it will only be available while supplies last. But there we go. We have a few little embellishments there to finish off that card. So there you have it. And you can make your little images rock or walk. So that's all for today. And as always, the supply list, the cutting measurements, and a few directions will be found on my corresponding blog post. And the link to that blog post can be found in the description of this video. Now, if you cannot find the description of this video, just look right below it. And I know, at least on my phone and my iPad, you will see a sentence or two, and then you will see the word more. Click on more, and that will open it up, and you will find the entire description of this video and the link to my corresponding blog post. Well, thank you so much for joining me today, and until next time, stamp happy.